Greetings, class, and welcome. I wanted to take a moment to say great job on the first group of activities from last week. I really appreciate all the time and effort that everyone has spent on the various activities. So keep up the good work. I think it's going to be a great semester, and I really do appreciate all your hard work and your efforts. And as always, if you have any questions, please be sure to call or email me, and I'll be happy to answer them in any way possible. Now, to get started for this week, what I would like you to do, and typically what I do for each week, and there may be times when I don't do this, but to get us started, I will do it for the first few weeks, is I'm going to go over the material that you'll be covering for the this week's activities. And so what I would encourage you to do at this point is to probably pause the video and grab your book, and then you can just kind of follow along, make notes. I'm going to highlight some items and talk a little bit about various things, and this is essentially what I would do in the normal face-to-face class as well. So again, pause the video and grab your book, and then we'll go over it in just a moment. Okay. Welcome back. I hope you have your textbook. So let's take a moment to look at the various items. What I would like to draw your attention to first is at the front of the book on page 22, which is actually XXII, and this is some really important information about sort of frequently asked questions regarding how the book is structured and how you should look at the various programs. What if the programs and the screen captures do not look exactly the same that you're familiar with or you're used to? And so again, that's on page 22, which is XXII. Take a moment to look at that. Also, look at the following page, which is 23, XXIII, and this is important notes for Windows XP users. Probably a lot of you have Windows 7 or maybe Windows Vista, but there are probably still some students that have Windows XP, and that page discusses a little bit about the differences between the screens of Windows XP and Windows 7/Windows Vista. So pay careful attention to that as well. Now, let's look at our first section in the textbook, and this is on Unit A, Understanding Essentials of the Computers. And if you look at the bottom of the page, it'll be called Concepts 2, which should just be a couple of pages after the FAQs we talked about earlier. And on Concepts 2, on that page, it talks a little bit about the different types of computers: personal computers, desktop computers, handheld computers, and so on. It's a good idea to know the differences with those because you'll definitely see those on the test a little bit later. Most of you are familiar with desktop and laptop computers. A new and upcoming type of computer is a tablet PC. I'm fortunate enough to have an iPad. Looks something like this, and you can actually just open it up and you can see that I have access to my iPad, and it's essentially a computer, but it's on a tablet PC as well. So it's a really nice format, and it's significantly smaller. You see, it's significantly smaller than having an entire laptop available, and so you probably are starting to see those with the Apple iPad. So that's another type of computer, up-and-coming computer. And then a lot of you are probably familiar with MP3 players and so on. There's some pictures on Concepts 3 on that page. Now, looking at Concepts 4 on that page, there's essentially various types of computer system components. You have input devices, output devices, peripherals, you have various other items related to the computer. And so I would pay careful attention to those various components because you will see those again, especially items like input and output, as well as data and processing. So you'll definitely want to pay careful attention to those. And then page Concept 6 talks a little bit more about the input devices. Most of us are familiar with keyboard and mouse, but there's a couple of other ones there that you can explore as well. Concepts 8 talks about output devices. Printer, monitor, by far the most popular, and then there's some details about different types of monitors. Most of us now probably have the extremely thin LCD monitors, but some of you may still have the tube, picture tube monitors. But for the most part, we're using thin display devices. Now, we also on Concepts 10 talk a little bit about investigating data processing, and this is where you talk about bits and bytes. Again, a very important key element, especially when it comes to testing, is understanding the difference between bits and bytes. And a bit is a single element of the computer processing language. So it's either a 1 or a 0. And then bytes is a series of 8 bits. So a bit is one item, and then a byte is 8 of those together equal a byte. And so you've probably heard that term, or at least part of that term, whenever you hear about kilobytes, megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes, and so on. And so again, a bit is the smallest unit of computer language out there, and it's usually represented by a 1 or a 0, which essentially means it's on or it's off. And then after that, 8 of those bits make up a byte. And for illustration about how 1s and 0s can represent numbers, letters, and so on, you can see on page Concepts 11 that it talks a little bit about, for instance, the number 6 is 00000110. So in a computer language, it's represented by a series of 1s and 0s. Again, bit and byte, very, very important. Memory is another important item. Concepts 12 page. RAM and ROM, by far what you're most familiar with. RAM is random access memory. ROM is read-only memory. RAM is temporary. Once you turn the power off, you lose it. ROM is permanent, and even with the power off, it still retains the information. Some other items, Concepts 14 talks about storage media, hard disks, compact disc, DVD, flash memory. Flash memory is extremely popular. I keep a lot of flash drives myself. In fact, I have this funny little, I call it a purse, but it's actually all my different flash drives in here. I have several here, and then I have several here, and this can hold 6 to 8 different flash drives. So I have so many different flash drives of keeping stuff available that I have to have a little purse for that. And then Concept 16 talks a little bit about data communications. Really not necessary to know a lot of it other than the Ethernet port, and that's what's most common whenever we're connecting to a network. And then the other item is USB port, and USB port is typically what we're plugging in printers, flash drives, and so on. Good. Concepts 18 talks a little bit more about networking and just understanding the difference between what a network is. And then I would also pay careful attention to the following items on that page, understanding their definition. A LAN, a WAN, and a PAN. So a LAN is a local area network, a WAN is a wide area network, and a PAN is a personal area network. So be sure that you're familiar with those different types of networks. Security is talked about in Concepts 20. I'll let you go ahead and read that. Hopefully you have antivirus software program installed. Extremely important. And then on Concepts 22, there's a discussion about system software. And essentially system software is the software that runs your computer system. So it's Windows, it's Mac, OS 10, or whatever flavor you might be using. But system software is the operating system software that helps to manage the computer and keep it running. Application software performs specific computer tasks. So in this class, we're going to study about Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Those programs are called application software. And again, it allows you to perform a specific task. Okay, that's it for the first section, Unit A of Computer Concepts. I appreciate your time. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to post to the discussion board or email me. Thank you. Have a great day.